million-dollar bluffs, helicopter rides to billionaire poker games, and the wildest plays high-stakes poker has ever seen. Alan Keating didn't just rise through the ranks, he redefined what poker stardom looks like. But who is this mysterious high-stakes adrenaline junkie? And how did a guy with 0 tournament wins and barely any social media presence become the most watched player on the planet? What you're about to see is not just the rise of Alan Keating, it's the story of how chaos, charisma, and calculated carnage turned a man into a myth, and how that myth might just be poker's most dangerous legend. Before Alan Keating became the centerpiece of million-dollar streams, he was a ghost in the poker world. No loud interviews, no live tournament resume worth bragging about, just a man with high limits and a higher threshold for chaos. You won't find much about him in old poker archives. He's not the guy grinding World Series satellites or streaming solvers on Twitch. In fact, Keating's background was so under the radar, most fans assumed he was some crypto billionaire turned poker hobbyist. But those close to the scene knew better. Keating was a quiet killer, part investor, part madman, and 100% unpredictable. He came up in private games, long before the cameras ever caught him. His roots weren't tied to a PokerStars sponsorship or a 6-figure score in Monte Carlo. Instead, Keating built his fortune away from the table, through startup investments, boardrooms, and Silicon Valley connections. Poker wasn't his job, it was his outlet. He said it himself, poker was never about the money. For Keating, it was a tool, a way to meet sharp people, a proving ground, a social experiment. He didn't want to win, he wanted to see what would happen. And that's why he scared people. Because Alan Keating wasn't there to min-raise and outplay you with a solver-approved range. He was there to throw you into the deep end, flip the rules upside down, and test how far you'd go. And when millions were on the line, he didn't blink. He laughed. He once said poker reminded him of his family. Late nights spent around a kitchen table playing cards and talking trash. So when you see him bet $250,000 with 7 high and smile while doing it, don't mistake it for recklessness. That's not recklessness, that's home.
I'm down $500,000 and I have to make a choice, either play careful or turn up the heat.
When Alan Keating first appeared on Hustler Casino Live, the poker world didn't know what to expect. He sat down at a table full of seasoned professionals, bought in for $500,000 and started playing like he was chasing ghosts. But that night, something changed. Poker fans had seen aggressive players before. They'd seen bluffs, hero calls, and fearless plays, but nothing like this. Keating didn't just bluff, he blasted. He didn't just call light, he called with hands that left GTO experts questioning reality. He didn't protect his stack, he weaponized it. While other players protected bankrolls, Keating played like the money was already gone. Almost overnight, clips of Keating began flooding poker Twitter. One week he'd fire off $200,000 on a river bluff with absolute air. The next week he'd call $500,000 with a weak top pair and be right. Viewers couldn't decide if he was a genius or a maniac, but they agreed on one thing, they wanted more. He quickly became a main attraction. The chat exploded when his name was on the lineup. Casual fans showed up for the action. Hardcore players showed up to solve the mystery. Who was this guy? And why was he so comfortable lighting 6 figures on fire? But here's the thing. Keating wasn't playing a role. This wasn't an act. He wasn't pretending to be loose aggressive for views. That's just how he plays. Because for Keating, the game isn't about survival, it's about spectacle. The more unorthodox his strategy, the more valuable his presence. He didn't need a title to be a star. He made entertainment look effortless, and made high-stakes streams feel more like HBO than ESPN. Suddenly, every player at the table wanted to tangle with him, not just for the chips, but for the camera time, because if you made a big play against Alan Keating, the clip would go viral. Win or lose, he made you famous. His style defies every conventional rule in the book. Standard pre-flop ranges, out the window. Positional awareness, optional. Bankroll management, irrelevant. If there's one word that defines Keating's style, it's pressure. He creates it, lives in it, and thrives off it. You'll see him fire 3 streets with 9-7 suited on a board that hits no one, bluffing into $500,000 like it's a $5 home game. In one hand, he put in over 1,000 big blinds with third pair. In another, he casually dropped a $500,000 buy-in and barely reacted when it evaporated in 15 seconds. But don't mistake the chaos for cluelessness. Keating might look like he's out of control, but watch closely. He's reading the room like a behavioral psychologist. Look at the way he spots indecision. The moment his opponent hesitates, he strikes. That famous hand where he jammed nearly $500,000 with middle pair, he picked up on a subtle shake of the head. That was enough. He knew, and he was right. He's not playing the cards, he's playing you. Keating is one of the few players who understands poker as a spectator sport. He's not trying to win every session, he's trying to win every moment. When the cameras are on, he's going to make sure the viewers get a show, even if it means torching a few $100,000 to do it. And that's what makes him terrifying, because most players are scared of losing. They're worried about variance, bankroll swings, reputation. But Keating, he's scared of boredom. If the game slows down, he wakes it up. If someone folds too often, he hunts them. If the stakes aren't high enough, he asks the floor to raise them. If you thought Alan Keating's poker game was wild, wait until you see what happens when he leaves the casino. One moment, he's playing $1 million hand in Las Vegas. The next, he's boarding a helicopter to attend a private poker game at a deca-billionaire's estate in the Hamptons. No, that's not an exaggeration, that's just Thursday for Keating. He doesn't just dabble in luxury, he lives in it. But unlike your average Instagram flexer, Keating doesn't shove his wealth in your face. He floats through it, almost unaware. Whether he's golfing with NBA stars or hitting backroom games with hedge fund titans, he brings the same carefree vibe, high risk, high style, and high fun. And now, he's bringing that lifestyle to YouTube. His channel, which launched with a cinematic bang, isn't just about poker, it's about the Keating experience. In the debut episode, he broke down $1 million bluff like he was telling a campfire story. No charts, no jargon, just pure madness, charisma, and slow motion shots of burning chips. In the next, he took viewers inside a billionaire's poker den, complete with mansion exteriors, helicopters, golf games, and business pitches over cigars. The vibes were less poker tutorial and more James Bond meets Rounders, and somehow it worked. He's invested over $170,000 into the channel already, and that was just for the first 2 videos. 7 more are already shot, with plans to roll them out in curated seasons, like a Netflix series with a bankroll. And it's not just for show. Keating knows this isn't just entertainment, it's leverage. The more eyeballs he gets, the more doors he opens. Private games, startup deals, acting cameos, maybe even a future poker league. He's turned the table into a stage, and every hand is a performance. But the best part? He still shows up like he doesn't care. Every great poker story needs a rival. For Alan Keating, that rival is Peter. You've probably seen the clip by now, the hand where Keating called down nearly $500,000 with third pair, and Peter couldn't believe it.
Oh my. Oh my.
Not like this, Alan. Not like this. Not like this. Not like this.
The one where Keating raised the turn like he had the nuts, and Peter, mid-tank, looked dazed, confused, and maybe even hurt. That hand became instant poker folklore. But the truth is, that wasn't the beginning, it was just the rematch. The first time they clashed, Keating lost a pot worth over $2 million. He tried to bluff Peter off a full house. He went all in on the river with air, and Peter snapped him off like it was nothing. Keating took it in stride, smiling, nodding, tapping the table like he just dropped $50 at a blackjack table. But make no mistake, he remembered. The second time they met, things got personal. In a high-stakes stream that would go down as one of the wildest ever aired, Keating locked in on Peter like a heat-seeking missile. Every time Peter entered a pot, Keating was there, calling light, raising lighter, and Peter cracked. He lost big. Then he reloaded. Then he lost again. Hands that should have been folds turned into hero calls, and Keating, calm, centered, and impossibly cool, just kept firing. At one point, Peter stormed away from the table. The chat lit up. Keating broke him. Peter's tilted out of his mind. This is the best stream I've ever seen. Even commentators struggled to keep up. After the session, Peter reportedly messaged Airball throughout the night, asking the same question over and over. How did he call me? He wasn't angry, he was bewildered. Because Keating wasn't just making plays, he was creating moments. These weren't hands, they were storylines. And Peter, whether he liked it or not, had become a co-star. Their rivalry became a fan obsession. Every time both names appeared on a lineup, viewership spiked. People wanted to see if Peter would finally get his revenge, or if Keating would break him again. In an era where poker has become cleaner, colder, and more technical, Alan Keating is a reminder of what made the game legendary in the first place. Drama, instinct, personality, risk. He's not chasing bracelets, he's not cashing out min profits, he's not solving spots, he's creating them. And as poker content explodes on YouTube, TikTok, and streaming platforms, Keating might be the exact kind of player the next generation needs. Someone who plays with style, substance, and just enough insanity to keep things unpredictable. He's not the future of poker. He's the necessary disruption. So that's the insane rise of Alan Keating, from anonymous investor to poker's ultimate wildcard. But here's the real question. Is this just the beginning of his story, or the calm before a much bigger storm? Let us know your favorite Keating moment in the comments below. Some go broke, some disappear, and some, like Sammy Farha, go from the top of the world to completely off the map. Click here to watch how one of poker's flashiest legends lost it all.